Look at this child, left behind, struggling to survive, completely alone on one of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth. You would think this child would grow up to be nobody. Well, think again. Genghis Khan was born TEMUJIN around 1162 in Mongolia, a land so harsh that survival itself was a daily challenge. His father, Yasuge, was a minor tribal chief, not wealthy, but surrounded by rivals. When TEMUJIN was around 9 years old, his father took him to a neighboring tribe to find him a bride. Her name was Borte. The families agreed. Yasuge left his son behind as a gesture of goodwill and began the journey home. On the way back, Yasuge stopped to share a meal with a rival group called the Tatars. They recognized him. They gave him something harmful in his food. Yasuge passed away shortly after. Not exactly gracious hosts. With their leader gone, TEMUJIN's tribe decided to move on without his family. They packed everything and left, all of them. TEMUJIN, his mother Holin, and his younger siblings were left on the steppe with almost nothing. No food, no animals, no support. His mother was a truly remarkable woman. She refused to give up. She gathered berries, roots, and small animals to keep her children fed. TEMUJIN, now the oldest male in the family at 9 years old, tried his best to help. Survival was brutal. Tensions within the family grew dangerously high. A serious confrontation broke out between TEMUJIN and his half-brother. The situation ended tragically. Those were incredibly difficult times for the family.
Then things became even harder. A rival tribe called the Taichuts arrived. They captured TEMUJIN and placed a heavy wooden collar around his neck. He was taken as a prisoner and forced to serve them. But TEMUJIN was not someone who accepted defeat. He built trust with a sympathetic guard who agreed to assist him. He hid near a river for hours while search parties looked for him. He moved quietly through unfamiliar territory under the cover of darkness. Eventually, he found his way back to his family. Against all odds, he had made it. And with every hardship, his resolve only grew stronger. As a young man, TEMUJIN returned to collect his promised bride, Borte. It proved to be a very important decision. Borte's family was well connected and presented him with a valuable wedding gift, a fine black sable fur coat. TEMUJIN used it wisely. He offered it to a powerful tribal leader named Togrul in exchange for his alliance and protection. For the first time in a long time, things seemed to be improving. Then, a rival group called the Merkits took Borte away from him. TEMUJIN gathered every ally he had. He organized a coordinated effort, confronted the Merkits, and brought Borte home safely. Not long after, Borte gave birth to their first son. No one questioned the details too closely. TEMUJIN had now shown what kind of leader he was, loyal to those who stood by him and relentless against those who opposed him. Fighters from across the region began joining his cause. He introduced a new way of organizing his forces. Rather than grouping soldiers by family or tribal origin, he structured everything around skill and loyalty. Your ability determined your rank. Your background did not matter. This was a revolutionary idea, and a deeply unpopular one among the traditional nobility. He also established firm rules. Soldiers were not permitted to take anything from the opposing side until the conflict was fully resolved. Discipline came first. Rewards came after. Gradually, through strategy and persistence, he brought one rival group after another under his leadership. The Tatars, who had caused the passing of his father years earlier, were among those he dealt with decisively. He had not forgotten what they did. By 1206, every Mongolian tribe had united under his leadership. A great assembly called the Kurultai was held. And there, on the open steppe, the boy no one had wanted was given a new name: Genghis Khan, universal ruler.
A lesser leader might have been satisfied. Genghis Khan was not. He directed his forces toward China, targeting the Shisha and Jin dynasties. These kingdoms had long considered Mongols to be beneath them. They were about to learn otherwise. The Mongol forces were unlike anything those regions had encountered before. They moved with incredible speed. They were highly disciplined and remarkably coordinated.
They employed clever tactics, including misdirection and rapid strikes. Communities that cooperated were treated fairly. Those that refused faced severe consequences. News of this spread quickly. Most chose to cooperate. Next came the Khwarezmian Empire, a vast and powerful civilization spanning modern-day Iran, Uzbekistan, and surrounding areas. Genghis sent a trade delegation as a gesture of goodwill. The governor of a border city had the entire group harmed and their goods taken. Genghis responded by sending official representatives to seek resolution. The Shah had those representatives removed permanently. This turned out to be a catastrophic miscalculation. Genghis Khan arrived with a force of 200,000 soldiers and systematically dismantled that civilization. Ancient cities fell. Vast populations were displaced or lost. The Shah fled across his own collapsing empire and passed away alone on a small island in the Caspian Sea. All of that because of one governor's greed and one ruler's arrogance.
How do we judge Genghis Khan? By contemporary standards, his campaigns caused immense human suffering. Historians estimate that his conquests resulted in the loss of around 40 million lives, approximately 10% of the global population at that time. Entire regions were left empty. Some never recovered. And yet, within the territories he governed, he did something unexpected. He established freedom of religion across his empire. He encouraged and protected trade across enormous distances. He built one of the earliest organized postal relay systems in recorded history. He extended legal protections to women that most societies of that era never considered. He was one of the most destructive and one of the most capable rulers in all of history at the same time. That contradiction is real. It does not go away simply because it is uncomfortable. History rarely gives us clear heroes or clear villains. In 1227, while leading a campaign against the Shah, Genghis Khan passed away. The precise cause remains uncertain. Historians suggest it may have been a riding injury, an illness, or the toll of wounds he had never allowed himself to recover from properly. His remains were transported back to Mongolia and placed in a secret location. Those who accompanied the procession ensured that no one along the route could reveal the path. Afterward, those individuals were also silenced. The location has never been found. His empire continued to grow under the leadership of his sons and grandsons. It eventually became the largest connected land empire ever recorded in human history. The child who had been left behind on the steppe with nothing and no one had reshaped the entire world. Not bad for a kid nobody wanted.
And that is how a forgotten child became the ruler of half the world. But this is only the beginning. What came next was even bigger. Subscribe now and be the first to find out.